What's going on, everybody? It's TheZachMichael here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how I make my lo-fi chord progressions and lo-fi melodies. So to get started here, I'm just going to drag in a vinyl sound because I always throw some vinyl or some rain or some sort of ambience below my melody. And you can either do that after you program in what you want to play instrument-wise, or you can do it before. I already know I'm going to use this vinyl from one of my kits, which are available on my site. I'm going to turn that down. I want it just in the background. You can use like RC20. You can use a ton of different things to actually get you that, but I'm just going to use a vinyl from one of my kits. That way I don't have to worry about tweaking RC20 and that sort of thing. It just makes it easier for me, and I just have a couple different vinyls throughout my different lo-fi kits. So I'm going to be opening up complete control, but realistically, you can make these chord progressions with any sound. Lo-fi has gotten very, very diverse over the years. Like you can use guitars, you can use keys, pianos, Rhodes, you can use pads and different synthesizers, and there's really like a lot of approaches that work. So there's not really like a one size fits all. Now I'm going to use hybrid keys today. This is just a VST that I like using in the Contact Play series. It has a bunch of really cool sounds in it. We're going to just try to find one. Use this one here, I think. We might end up adding layers and that sort of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually change the BPM. I usually start a lot of my lo-fi stuff at 90 BPM, and then I can change it up throughout. And we're going to make this in E minor. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the E minor scale just to kind of show you guys certain things and make it a little easier to explain. So all the selected notes here that you can see that are colored, those are in E minor. So since we're making the melody in E minor, I want all of that to come in. So the way I build lo-fi chord progressions is I start with coming up with my bass notes. Just like this. So I'm going to pick my bass notes. Now, one thing you'll notice is because I'm going to be creating something that's a bit more sad, generally what you can do to do that is have the bass note for the chord at the end be the same note. Just repeat it twice. It's something that's used a lot, and not only in lo-fi, but it's just something that I've noticed and definitely can help give you those like sad boy sort of piano vibes, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be using that today. And what we're going to do is then copy these and paste them up. And then we're going to build a triad, skipping one selected note in this scale. Now here, I'm actually going to change the chord. So I'm going to remove this note here and then put one on top so it's still a triad, as you can see. Now, we're going to do a lot more than this, but this is what it sounds like thus far. Now that might be all you want for your lo-fi chord progression. Something as simple as that might really be all you need, depending on what sound you're using and how much character it has and what chord bass notes you chose and that sort of thing. But we're going to go ahead and make this even more lo-fi. So another thing I like doing is adding another note to each of the triads. I make the chords just a little bit bigger by doing that. And now you're already going to hear them a little bit bigger. That's without it. That's with it. It just makes it sound a little more full. Another thing I like doing is actually strumming the chords, and I like to kind of have the strum be a little more emphasized a lot of the time because I'm using it a bit more for character. A lot of times people use strum when they're trying to make stuff sound like realistic or like a player played it, but when it comes to lo-fi stuff, at least when you're using a sound like this where it's not necessarily meant to emulate like a real piano, you can kind of make the strum super bold like I'm doing here. Like see, it's definitely very like noticeable. But that's done intentionally. And I just like how that sounds. It just makes things a little more interesting. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually turn down the bass notes in velocity, and then I'm just going to randomize the velocities here of everything. Actually turn down these top notes as well, because I want everything to be a little quiet. So just like that, we have a bit of a chord progression. Now I'm going to build more on this. Another thing that I like to teach a lot whenever I'm doing melody tutorials is that yes, you can add top lines, but also don't be afraid to just add melody within chords. Sometimes it's really all you need. So I'm just going to show you, there are very simple ways to do that, is just having like little passing note cuts like this. See? So we just have this little like passing note here. You can just turn those up or down depending on how important you want those to be. I'm going to make it another sort of transitional thing here, just sounding like this, just kind of like a little, it's gonna re-go through the chord, but basically just like up the chord, if that makes sense. And it's just like a way to create melody within the chord progression. So now we have this so far. Sounds nice. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bit more layers to this though, because while having that one layer is cool, and it's honestly enough that you could throw drums if you wanted to keep this lo-fi track very open, I like to have different layers in a lot of my melodies. It just gives me room to have a lot of just like flexibility when it comes to arrangement. So we're gonna open up Omnisphere and try to find something in here maybe that we can use. Just try to find another sound that works. Kind of like this. We're gonna cut that, and let's just kind of rebuild our initial chords here. Like that. Now we're not gonna do the full, we're just gonna do the triads, and I'm actually gonna arpeggiate these. So let's just get this set up the way we want it to be. Alright, so now I'm gonna modify this arpeggio a little bit, just because I don't want like these notes that were initially like this. I don't want two of the same note to hit. I'm gonna do that. Now I'm gonna throw some effects on this. We're gonna throw some reverb on it. Just have that in the background. There's a little bit of movement. And lastly, I just want to add like one more layer, something a little ambient or atmospheric. This is just something I like doing in my lo-fi tracks. Not everybody does this, but I'm gonna try to find like a nice pad or string that I can just throw in the background. Okay, I just randomized it in this first one. Actually, it's pretty nice because I wanted something that has a bit of just like character to it. I don't want something that's so generic. I like how this like flutters. That's just gonna be very quiet in the background. And just like that, we kind of have a solid lo-fi melody. So now we're just gonna arrange this out, just kind of how I usually do things is I'm gonna render out each of the sections. That way, like any of the reverbs or delays and that sort of thing don't bleed into each other, because I want to make it so that way if I collaborate with another producer with this, or even if I use it on my own track later, I want to be able to like cut up the melody and not have things bleed into each other. So intro is gonna have everything, and we'll just kind of go like that. So that's kind of like the main arrangement, and then I'll just kind of stem it out over here as well without the vinyl, just in case you don't want the vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the person who's using this doesn't want that vinyl, so I'll take it out for this section here. That way they don't have to worry about it. They can just arrange it however they want. But overall, that's how you create a lo-fi melody. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching. Head on over to elizabethrecords.net if you'd like to support me. You can purchase VST expansion banks, drum kits, loop kits, and MIDI kits that'll level up your production there.